killed people in trials, but they did an emergency government order so that they could have it bypass and get liability protection by calling it an emergency drug. That's what Rick Perry did, one of his great sins. I'm not even anti-Rick Perry. He got bamboozled into it by the medical tyranny. And the Garda still sterilizes a lot of the women that take it, little girls. That's on record now. Just search engine that. I mean, they admit that in the medical studies. Well, now COVID-19, the way the scientists describe it is it basically eats your testicles and sterilizes you. The virus is designed to eat your testicles. So now we know why it's mainly men. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live on this Sunday transmission. I'm your host, Alex Jones. There are so many facets and angles of this, and I'm going to get into them next segment, but right now I'm just going to hit the breaking news, the latest that's unfolding with this virus. But understand this. I didn't want to make statements about the virus and where it came from and exactly who was behind it and just how deadly it was until we got some real optics on it. Because you can't believe a word that comes out of the Chi-Com's mouths.
You can't believe a word that comes out of anyone trying to verify everything.
And it's exactly what I thought 8-9 weeks ago, what I surmised. Now it's coming into view.
For yourself.
It's focusing, and it's very, very nasty. And there's a bunch of different agendas tied to it, and the evidence is overwhelming that it was released on purpose. I told Trump 8 weeks ago, get out ahead of it. It's a Chi-Com weapon. Presented the evidence on air with the former head of the former top lawyer that wrote the U.S. biological weapons law.
Intel that suggests Stargazer has established
all the other
itself
experts,
as a data
and
broker for various cartels,
that was the
guerrilla factions,
analysis
and
then.
other paramilitary
Now
groups.
it's
We're sending you in to
becoming
download
crystal
evidence
clear.
off their equipment
That
so
is
we
indeed
can
the
out
case.
them for what they really are.
That's what the Chi-Coms are blaming the U.S. Army for. So let's go ahead and go through the facts. But notice that's the one agency that hasn't been totally penetrated by the Communist Chinese is the Army and the Marines, to a certain extent. Even though the Marines' slogan, gun-ho, is a Chi-Com statement and slogan. They didn't know that. But notice they addressed their enemy as the U.S. Army. Nice little tidbit. Folks know about different things going on in the deep state. All right, let's go ahead and walk through this. Coronavirus updates. U.S. deaths top 2,100 as CDC issues travel advisory for 3 states. Oh, and by the way, President Trump is set to give a update in the Rose Garden any time now. We're watching that feed live. The minute he comes out, we will go to the president.
Location alpha and secure access
So
to
coronavirus,
Stargazer's intelligence database.
U.S. deaths top 2,100 as CDC issues travel advisory for 3 states, New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. They're also looking at travel restrictions, at least advisories on the city of New Orleans. Donald Trump considered quarantine for New York, but says it won't be necessary. Impeachment 2.0, how Dems and Soros are using COVID-19 crisis to disrupt Trump's 2020 bid, trying to destroy the economy. Hillary Clinton makes a joke out of coronavirus, says Trump did promise America's first. Then she retweeted the GQ lady saying America is a asshole country. I interviewed a whistleblower that is actually high level in the federal coordination of the COVID-19 response in Texas. He pointed out that we've done roughly 100 times the testing that any other country's done, more than all countries combined. And so that's why we're the leader in it, because we've tested the most people. China stopped testing.
Plug it in and let the drive do its work.
Pelosi says that it's Trump's fault every death and that it's his fault, even though the Democrats are the ones trying to keep the borders and the flights from China still coming in.
We should expect company.
Here's the exclusive article from AN.video. Whistleblower exposes huge coronavirus secret. The United States has the most testing, and so it has the most cases. Fauci warns 200,000 Americans could die from coronavirus in a speech he gave, breakdown he gave yesterday. He warned, though, that that's with current models, and they don't know how accurate those are. If the testing goes up, they'll see if the death rate is as high as they previously thought. Let's pray it's not. Lindsey Graham, again, rips into Pelosi for blaming Trump for coronavirus deaths, says it's the most politically disgusting thing he's ever seen. Well, especially when they're the ones saying to stand down 6 weeks ago. Another big study out of Washington State They predict 80,000 coronavirus deaths expected in the U.S. by summer. Meanwhile, COVID-19 crisis could trigger global food shortages. The UN warns that there's already slowdowns in food production and food delivery around the planet. Now, this is a really big article we're going to detail coming up in the last segment of this hour. Downing Street says China faces a reckoning over the coronavirus, outraged by them saying that the Pentagon or the Army launched the attack when clearly China is covering up the entire event, using it for political control. Downing Street, meanwhile, British scientific advisors, China covering up full extent of coronavirus could be 40 times worse than reported. That's an Infowars.com article that links to statements made by Tim Downing Street. China's efforts to blame coronavirus on a U.S. Army delegation to Wuhan infuriate number 10. That's another article out of the Daily Mail. That's all coming up. And then, of course, the really big news that I'm going to be covering next segment. COVID-19 virus may harm male fertility, Chinese scientists say. These are prestigious universities. I went and looked at other studies, and it turns out the same family of virus does attack the testicles, but in their study, it attacks the testicles more than lung tissue and literally eats them, creating bloody lesions so that you cannot produce sperm.
Encrypted and downloaded. You were going
Might as well put your testicles in a blender or a wood chipper. I read the study, found other studies, and so now you know I will gauge it. So please.
We've got eyes on Stargazer Mobile Command Center at the following coordinates. They should have everything.
HPV vaccine attacks the ovaries. Female fertility hits the eggs, and this hits the testicles. Jack Sprat no fat. His wife leaked no lean. So between the HPV and the coronavirus, they licked the platter clean. Total sterilization. Chinese scientists raised concern over the potential link between coronavirus and male fertility. You read the study, it's not a link. They said, we're looking at hundreds of patients, and their testicles are gone. They're bloody balls. Literally. Just like the lungs. Bloody. Eaten. Here's all those angles. Oh, and even the Wall Street Journal is saying what we're saying. Coronavirus and autocrats. Never let a pandemic go two ways. Autocrats, another way to say dictatorship by the bureaucrats. That's what autocracy is. Also, global pandemic response, handling government sweeping powers they never relinquish. Meanwhile, the West faces social bomb as pandemic sparks unrest amongst the poorest, mainly the Islamic areas, aren't following it. Oh, and Governor Cuomo had to admit in a press conference that he's got a stockpile of more than 20,000 respirators in New York. He keeps saying that Trump hadn't given them. De Blasio said that it hadn't happened, when he's sitting on top of a giant stockpile that each major state has. Total deception. Total and complete lies, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what these people do. I mean, you see Pelosi up there. Every death was Trump's fault. I played the clip earlier. We'll probably play it again. It's up on Infowars.com. Oh, meanwhile, communist China and Singapore, other authoritarian systems, are the model of how we respond. To the lockdowns, to social distancing, to the drones shouting orders at us. So now the U.S. is using drones in California. They bought from the communist Chinese government, equipped and designed by the police over there to shout orders, and now England's doing it. Coronavirus, UK Council deploys talking drones that track down lockdown rebels. And then, next hour, Trump just took over the Federal Reserve. I've studied it. I've looked at it. Is that a good thing? Well, overall, but if he just becomes what he took over, is it good? No, it's not. So we'll look deeply at that. Big things are happening. All right. Folks, tune into this broadcast to hear what I think and what I think's coming next. And we've got a great track record of laying out tomorrow's news today, next year's news today. With this virus and what happened in communist China and the way they tried to cover it up and the way they tried to blame it on the U.S. Army and the way the Democrats and the deep state are now trying to blame Trump for it. We predicted all of that 9 weeks ago when this wasn't even a big story. People were asking me, why are you talking about this so much? And we had sources over in China and Hong Kong and Taiwan saying there are major lockdowns, there are people dying, there is people disappearing, they are killing doctors that speak up, and later that was all confirmed. So we asked, are they releasing something else on the population and claiming it's this virus? Or is the virus really that deadly? Or is it a race-specific virus? And we war-gamed that out and had a lot of top experts that have been proven to have good track records of predicting what's happening. Then a major Indian university came out that's prestigious, that has access to the gene editing software and programs in India. And they scanned it, and they said, this is ridiculous. It's totally man-made. It's 4 different viruses welded together with an HIV delivery system on it. And then another major institute came out in the U.S., and then another one in Europe, and they looked at it and even saw the protein injection points on either side where the gene gun, because this is not, they just fire these things in, and they're so small, and then they try to then isolate one with electron microscopes, what I'm told. I'm not a scientist. I read what they say, to try to then get the virus they want. Now, who made it? Who did it? We don't know. We know in 2015, there was a major national debate. It was in the Journal of Science. It was everywhere. Why did Obama authorize a North Carolina university, level 4 bioweapons facility, to sell them a chimera coronavirus that was very similar to this? And then why did it come out of Wuhan where there's a level 4 bioweapons lab? So we know it's manufactured, probably released by the Chi-Coms. But they certainly played it down while they let 5 million people get out of Wuhan, and while they sent massive numbers of Chinese citizens to Australia, to South Korea, to Japan, to the United States and other places to buy up all the surgical masks and other medical devices and equipment to bring it back to China. The left said, bring them in, don't block the flights. And the CDC brought in Americans by the thousands and didn't even test them. And we said, why are you bringing it here? That was 5-6 weeks ago. Then we began to point out, myself, Mike Adams, and many others, before anybody else did, that they're going to blame Trump when this starts killing a bunch of people, because he went along at first with the Democrats talking point of, hey, the economy's okay, just like the flu, yeah, it'll kill some folks, but we're going to be okay. Trump kind of bought into that. At first we said, whoa, 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 whoa. They're not going to call the Democrats on that. They're going to call you on that. You're being set up. We were dead on. Then I saw the stock market plunge 5, 6, 7,000 points, and I said, okay, folks, now they're overhyping it, say closes for 18 months. We've all got to have special apps to go outside our houses. This is the globalist wet dream. We can't go too far the other way. And so a lot of listeners said, okay, well then which is it? It's man-made, it's very deadly, it's a Chi-Com weapon, or don't worry about it. No, it's a man-made weapon. What we're learning is really nasty. I'm about to get into that in a moment. But it's meant at many levels to destroy commerce, to destroy open free societies, to attack cash, to attack free societies, to make people accept surveillance grids. It's the perfect globalist weapon, just like the Rockefeller Foundation wrote in 2010, they would want a virus, a deadly virus, to again bring in worldwide tyranny, to bring in worldwide control. And that's exactly what the former British Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, just said. He said, we need a planetary world government, the London Guardian, to save us from this. We have to get rid of basic freedoms. So we know the attacks on our freedoms and the attacks on our liberty and the attacks on our privacy is being used by these globalists in a bad way. They're trying to exacerbate fear and panic. So we don't want to panic. We don't want to lose our liberties. But at the same time, I'm not saying the virus doesn't kill people, especially the sick and the very, very old. But in the early studies and early info, it's now being confirmed by universities all over the place. I'm going to some of those here in a moment. That the virus, unlike other viruses, reinfects and attacks a lot of different tissues in the body. It's very, very nasty in that it hits your lungs first, then later it hits your heart, then it hits your testicles, then it hits your brain, and that's the weaponized nature of this, and everybody's going to end up getting it, whether they, quote, slow the curve, cut the curve,
What the fuck's up with this 2 people against 1 shit?
Regardless, this
Yeah,
thing
next
is
time
man-made.
the full crew.
This thing has the HIV delivery system on it. That's the elephant in the room. And the Chi-Coms are saying that now, and they're saying we did it. With no evidence. When we, America, with our beachhead of patriots trying to take the government back, had already won the trade war. Why on earth would we do something like that? No, Xi Jinping was losing in Taiwan. He was losing on the mainland. He was embarrassed. His system was falling apart. And then this thing comes out and allows them to change the subject from 3 million Muslims in death camps in the West.
And Christians, don't forget about that, asshole.
Change the subject away from
And dissidents, not just Muslims.
internally in the nation. And now Xi Jinping was being challenged by riots and all sorts of economic problems across the country. And then the left, they knew, would say Xi Jinping did a great job in our media, but then would attack Trump on every front, try to drive him from power. And now we're getting the white papers from months ago from the Carnegie Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, the Ford Foundation, and from Soros groups that indeed they've been planning all along to use the virus against Trump and against the economy. And they've been on TV now admitting that. They're so tone deaf. So that's really the big takeaway for me here, is that this virus is highly communicable. This virus reinfects. This virus is man-made. And until we force a discussion about who did it and who's behind it, it's going to be used as a political weapon against the free world and against our economy. And there's not going to be enough research to know exactly what it was designed to do if we don't get that information from China, who's been completely zip-lipped about it and actually putting out this information. And you notice everything you heard here 8-9 weeks ago is now what the Pentagon's saying. And it's now what 10 Downing Street is saying. And it's now what Trump is saying, because it's the truth. We immerse ourselves in how these globalist and communists operate. And now China is trying for the last 5 weeks to blame Donald Trump and the U.S. Army with zero evidence that this went on. No discussion of Obama, no discussion of them selling him the virus 5 years ago, no discussion of all the level 4 bioweapons labs, only just saying the Army did it. Official Chinese government news is saying that to blame us, to make us the enemy, and they're now in the MSNBC and CNN calling it the Trump virus and the American virus. Mainline news is openly using it as a weapon against us. That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you from A to Z what they're up to. Now, when we come back, we're going to get into how China has been shipping out fake tests to everybody and how they've been sending out faulty masks on purpose as part of this military operation. And even British intelligence says it's predatory and by design, and they will pay. President Trump just started speaking a few minutes ago during the break. We have it backed up in live time from lighthouse.gov and our satellite feed. We're going to go to that in a moment, and then I will get to the coronavirus attacking the male testicles and basically sterilizing people in major studies next hour, and then go to your calls, and then get into the fact that they're blaming the U.S. Army and so much more, and how that has absolutely enraged the Pentagon and British intelligence and others, because they know damn well it's a Chi-Com operation. It's key to it where it came from, its pedigree, to then stop it, because this is a political weapon. Yes, it kills people. Yes, it's dangerous, but it's like HIV. It comes back in different ways, and it attacks different tissues, and it does different things in the body. And so I am concerned about it. But if you notice, the White House is usually about a week behind InfoWars. See, I don't get talking points from some group. I do real research myself and put out a wide spectrum analysis. We have a big brainstorm here on air. And then with the guests, myself, the callers, the crew, we all come up with the best approximation. And 9 times out of 10, it's the best analysis out there. And so first, Trump says it's not a problem. We say, no, you're wrong, it is a problem. Then we say, now don't make it too big a problem, because then that's too big a panic. No point panicking. That'll cause an economic collapse and a depression, even worse than the virus. And then now that people aren't as panicked and have found their courage again, then you start seeing the numbers come in that it is going to probably kill 80 to 100,000 people. But wait till they learn it comes back. Wait till they learn it kills the family jewels. So we're in an information war here, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, I would sell 5 times more multivitamin, zinc supplements like Real Red Pill Plus, and I'd sell way more storable food, and I'd sell way more water filters if I got up here and said, run for the hills, we're all dead.
After the recent military coup,
But that's not what I did.
Cultural artifacts.
We told you it was man-made. We told you it was serious. We told you it reinfected. We told you they were going to try to blame Trump and America. They did exactly that. We told you they'd try to bring down the economy. And at that point, when the left all jumped on it and said it's the end of the world, we simply came out and said, be calm. This is the weaponization of the panic. They're trying to cause a lemming stampede. Everybody be calm. Some people then went, wait a minute, you said this was the big Chi-Com move. You said it was a bioweapon. Why are you saying everything's okay? That's not what I said. I said, don't panic. Like you chop your leg off. You better calm down, take your belt off, and tie it off. You got 30 seconds to do it before you die. Before you pass out from shock and bleed out. Take the belt off, get it tied around your leg. That's what we're saying. This is a globalist assault. We know it. We don't know exactly how bad it's going to be. We don't know what else they're going to pull, but we know this is it. This is 2020. We're only 3 months in, and all hell's already broken loose. But I am constantly reading the studies from all over the world on this virus, and of course, we even said this about a month ago. I said, watch, I bet it attacks the testicles and the ovaries. There's almost no viruses do that. Of course it does. Now it comes out, it eats them. It's its main target. If it can't eat you, it's sure as hell gonna kill you. Kill your testicles. Kill your future generations. And you just knew it was coming, folks. And the tabletop exercises and Event 201 and Disease X drills and all the shows about pandemics that came out right before this. Yes, it's all scripted by the globalists. Yes, they're hyping up the fear as much as possible to get power and grab it. But it's a real virus at the heart of it. And we've looked at all the angles of this.
Fuck. This mission just got a lot more complicated.
They're not telling you to stay in your houses because they care about you getting it and dying. They're doing that to set the precedent to control you to stay in your houses when the real bioweapons get released that kill 50% of the people. This is a test for the big ones. And I put that in my film Endgame 14 years ago. 14 years ago. I've been studying these people. You hear me going, there's all these big Rockefeller studies and all these big UN studies about using a plague to bring in world government. And people go, let's check that. My God, there's all the white papers. Jones, why aren't you covering this white paper on air? I made films about it. All right, let's go to the president. You don't need to buy the DVD at InfoWarsStore.com. It's online free, but it's something you need to watch, you need to check. Okay. Oh, let me say this. You saw the headlines everywhere where they said Jones banned off of his Google app, news app that we've had. That app's about 3 years old. Had millions of downloads, by the way, not 100,000. That's more disinformation Wired put out. And it said Jones put out false information about COVID-19 treatments concerning hydroxychloroquine. All I did was read about Fauci in the World Tribune and in Reuters and in Breitbart saying he would prescribe it to people that had COVID-19, and the EU says it's very promising. There's an article out of Breitbart. Dr. Anthony Fauci, of course I would prescribe chloroquine to coronavirus patients. Just type in, Dr. Fauci would prescribe chloroquine to COVID-19 patients. That's what I got banned for, because they don't want you having any hope. Are there side effects? Absolutely. So that's what they're coming after us for, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you guys lost?
And
Get
they
back to the mission.
In the same video that they said I got banned for, I played a Sean Hannity clip where he held up a letter from a doctor, it was later in the news, who treated 350 people with it in New York and had 100% recovery rates, the doctor said, with hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pak, and high dosages of zinc. That's the video they banned. Me covering a doctor and Fox News. So that's next level banning, folks. And that should really anger you. Yeah, remember Media Matters tattled on Hannity trying to get him fired for it. What in the world have we reached where they don't want you to have any hope? And that's actually what Fauci said. He said, I want you to have hope. Nothing's promising.
With an otherworldly life form.
All I did was cover
You're in
his
enemy
good news.
jurisdiction. Guard the body until we arrive, and you will be compensated for your efforts. Capture the
Real red
specimen
pill,
and
real
prepare
red plus other vitamins, other minerals. It has the pregnenolone in it as well. And on top of that, Real Red Pill Plus has some natural energy in it as well. Real Red Pill does not have the boost in it.
Pulling over the site now. Hold your ground, Voodoo.
That's an adult formula. For adults and children, we have vitamin mineral fusion, enhanced multivitamin formulation with amino acids as well, fruit punch, naturally flavored, dietary supplement. You talk about amazing. This is for you and your children, and all the vitamins, minerals work together. If you don't know about vitamin mineral deficiency and then problems, you're crazy. Just search zinc antiviral. Vitamin D3 antiviral. Just do it for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. And you deserve to do that research for yourself. Ask why the left said bring in the Chinese flights and leave the borders open, and then now's blaming Trump for every death. Ask why they're so angry, saying, you're not a doctor, Trump. Don't talk about hydroxychloroquine. And then they go, oh, look, a guy drank fish bowl cleaner because it had hydroxy in the name. There's 1,000 things with hydroxy in the name. But you don't then ban a drug that's been around 70 years that they use in Europe and have doctors where they can't prescribe it because an idiot drank fish bowl cleaner.
Good job, fellas.
And they go, well, also, if you take too much of the Z-Pack, you'll get sick. What? They're on the news going, Trump's so dumb, he says take an antibiotic for a virus because the bacteria carry the damn viruses. This is medical doctors across the board, how they treat it in Europe, hydroxychloroquine, Z-Pack, and zinc, period. They don't even want you to know what they do with a 97% to 98% success rate because they want you freaking out and going crazy. So I say it's a real virus. I'm worried about it. The thing's a bioweapon. Who the hell knows what it does in the later phases or what it mutates into? You know they've tested that out. But then there's the hype and the fear and how they don't want us to be able to get up here and say, I take zinc, I get sunshine, I drink a lot of water, I wash my hands, I stay away from big crowds. It's incredible. We're the ones that said the virus was serious 8-9 weeks ago because of the economic weapon and because of the unknown, because it was man-made and because it was reoccurring and reinfecting and other strains. And now Iceland scientists say there's 40 strains. French scientists say over 50 strains. This is big, ladies and gentlemen. But the drones and the lockdown and the police state and all of it, that's really what it's all about, is the power grab. There's multiple things going on at the same time, multiple big agendas stacked on top of this. All right, I'll get into the Trump speech. We've backed it up to the start. He's still ongoing. We'll get his first big announcements and air that. And then we will open the phones up and take your calls. The toll-free number to join us is 877-789-2539. Let's give first-time callers and first responders a chance to get to the front of the line here. 877-789-ALEX, 877-789-2539. Hour number 2 coming up. But we'll read the medical studies on how COVID-19 eats men's testicles. Remember how we said in the study showed it mainly hit men 18 to 50? Yeah, it's a depopulation, sterilization weapon, for sure. And now it's hitting a lot of old folks as well with another mutation. Your phone calls are coming up on this live Sunday transmission. I'm Alex Jones, your host. 877-789-ALEX. First-time callers today on the COVID-19. And now the fact that we're learning that it is clearly a depopulation, sterilization weapon. That's coming up after we hear from some of the remarks of the president in this segment next. 877-789-ALEX. Here is the president in ongoing live remarks.
Appreciate everybody being here. Beautiful day in the Rose Garden. Tremendous distance between chairs. Social distancing. You practice it very well. We appreciate it. That's great. I want to start today by highlighting several critical developments on both the testing and treatment that will help us win our war against the coronavirus. On Friday, the FDA authorized a new test developed by Abbott Labs that delivers lightning-fast results in as little as 5 minutes. That's a whole new ballgame. I want to thank Abbott Labs for the incredible work they've done. They've been working round the clock. Normally, this approval process from the FDA would take 10 months and even longer, but we did it in 4 weeks. Abbott has stated that they will begin delivering 50,000 tests each day starting this week. And as you know, even before this development, we've been doing more tests than any other country anywhere in the world. It's one of the reasons that we have more cases than other countries, because we've been testing. It's also one of the reasons that we're just about the lowest in terms of mortality rate, because we've been doing more testing, so we have bigger numbers to look at. I want to also thank General Semonite of the Army Corps of Engineers and General Pavlovicek, who's here with us, who's going to say a few words in a little while. What the Army Corps of Engineers did, along with FEMA in New York, was incredible. They built 2,900 beds worth of hospital, an incredible hospital in the Javits Center, which I know well. And I just want to say that was unreal. They did it in less than 4 days. People have never seen anything like that. And it's an incredible, complex, top-of-the-line hospital. They did it so quickly. Everyone's trying to figure out how they did it, including me, and I was a good builder. But they did it very quickly, Mike, so we're very happy. So I want to thank Army Corps of Engineers, FEMA, the incredible job they have done. Now they're moving to other locations throughout the country where they already have people building hospitals. We're doing them in Louisiana, New Jersey, many other places. But these are incredible men and women, and they worked around the clock, and the people of New York are very happy. Governor Cuomo expressed his thanks, which we appreciate. But these are, I mean, nobody could have done a job like that. Most people have never seen anything like it. The deployment of rapid testing will vastly accelerate our ability to monitor, track, contain, and ultimately defeat the virus. We will defeat the virus. It will also allow us to test doctors, nurses, and other healthcare workers immediately and enable us to act quickly and aggressively to shut down the spread of the virus, so important in critical facilities like hospitals and nursing homes. And we will ensure that we can give cities and states the best information to guide local decision makers and making. I want to point out that the hydroxychloroquine is being administered to 1,100 patients, people in New York, along with the Z-Pak, which is azithromycin. And it's very early yet. It started 2 days ago. But we will see what happens. I want to thank Stephen Hahn, who's a great doctor, left one of the best jobs.
All right, folks, we're going to go to break, and I'm going to back that up. His remarks were ongoing. But you understand, if you type in zinc antiviral, it's like saying you need oxygen to scuba dive. Well, of course you do. And of course, that's the thing Trump left out. What they're doing in these studies is also the zinc oxide at 250 milligrams a day, which I'm not advising. That's what the doctors are saying. That is not good for your kidneys, folks, but I'd rather keep my testicles than fry my kidneys a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you take it. Whatever. You just do whatever you think's best, folks. I'm not giving advice out here. We'll be right back.
Throughout the system,
So,
setting their
I got
entire
hand
network
off
factory
of our 5-star, 3-year-old Google Infowars.com app that simply fed people articles and videos.
Take it to the weed farm.
With over 3 million people downloaded. Remember, 2 years ago they banned our Apple app. It was #1 in news, and they just banned it. #1 was at a CNN, New York Times. They couldn't stand it. And they said in their statement, they said he talked about hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and Z-Pak as a promising treatment. And you're not allowed to do that unless the World Health Organization says so. They're saying unless the UN says doctors can't prescribe it off-label. But I've got the audio right here of Anthony Fauci. Just type in, Fauci says he would prescribe hydroxychloroquine to patients that had it because it was shown to be very promising in Europe. But the FDA says no. And then they banned me off something for quoting the president and the head spokesperson for the National Institutes of Health. Wow, they really don't want you to have hope. Well, I'll tell you. They got studies on the coronavirus. Not this one, but it's the same family. And when you take a ton of zinc, just look at it for yourself and look at the numbers. It's 95, 99%. I mean, you've got it built up in your body before you get the virus. It goes in the cells, blocks the mitochondria, so the virus can't go in and force the cell to replicate, and it coats the cell. And I mean, zinc's just incredible, folks. You die without it. And I want people to have hope.
Keep them busy. I'll get that alarm.
You think about the Democrats and telling you there's no hope and all those ceremonies. That backfired on them last month. Trump's approval rating went up. There's down. Now we're talking about hope because their attempt to drive down the economy didn't work. It's terrible. If you totally shut down society, we'll have a depression. That would be much worse. Because we're simpatico. People say, are you telling Trump what to do? Is he telling you what to do? How are you? No, he just goes out and pragmatically does mainline research like anybody else. And he comes to the same conclusions. That's why they said a couple years ago that the manager, Kelly, literally fought Trump and watched him listing myself. InfoWars or he would quit. Because Trump tunes into me and I'm not bragging, it's true. Trump tunes in, and it's what he's already thinking. It's not that he gets stuff from me. It's what he's already talking to doctors about. It's what he does the same thing. He brainstorms. And so they are major pissed.
Nice.
And Trump has like 4 people in the White House that listen to the show, and they check things out we say, and they really listen to us. They know we've got our ear to the ground, and that's why they're pissed. So remember a week ago they were trying to tell Trump, you better not talk about hydroxychloroquine. And you better not talk about zinc or Zika. And you're not a doctor. Shut up. And it's all over the European news and reports really well. Because they don't want the hope. And they sure as hell don't be going out there with zinc beforehand. Because again, once you get it, zinc helps, but it's not a sure thing. You got a bunch of zinc in you before, yeah, you better drink a lot of water, folks. You better research it yourself, because a lot of zinc's not good for your kidneys. Anybody can research this. You need to look it up for yourself. Here's the headline. Google Play Store removes InfoWars app for spreading coronavirus misinformation.
Send it back.
Point to the video that was on there where I laid on Fauci and Sean Hannity and just saying, oh, look, see what we told you a few weeks ago? Look, it's on Hannity. See? And that pisses them off. We have hope and we have credibility. Back when the Democrats said 8 weeks ago it wasn't a problem, we were here saying it's huge. They're going to use it against the economy. And they can't stand the fact that I don't have a master telling me what to say and what to do, that I do my own research, have all these great guests on. But when they were trying to panic everybody in the last month, I said, don't panic. I said, get prepared, protect yourself. But panic is not